Our planet is going down because we know too much and do too little. I really do believe the only thing that is going to end our denial is civil disobedience on a mass scale. I was in the White House with Lyndon Johnson in 1964 and 65 when we were trying to pass the Civil Rights Act of 64 and the Voting Rights Act of 65. And Lyndon Johnson in 64 urged Martin Luther King not to keep his demonstrations going. Lyndon Johnson's mantra was from Isaiah, "Come now and let us reason together." So he called Martin Luther King to the Oval Office and they had a long talk, and Johnson tried to persuade him to give up his protest in this demonstration. And over the next 3 hours, Martin Luther King gave Lyndon Johnson a tutorial in how change comes and how you reach as an oppressed and benighted people the moment when you realize you can't count on Uncle Sam, you can't count on the banker, you can't count on the preacher, the pastor, you can't count on the people in the establishment. You have to take control of yourself. And when he left, LBJ put his arms around Martin Luther King, walked him to the door and said, "Dr. King, go out there and make it possible for me to do the right thing." So King went back and we had Selma and we had all these other acts that built the political pressure for Johnson to fight for and sign the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. I think that's what it's going to take right now. I really do believe it. And I don't know where it's going to come from because it's different to put yourself, I mean, it's easy for me to say you have to put yourself on the line out there.
Right.
But my wife said to me the other day, you know, what do people our age have to lose? Shouldn't we be out there like Granny D? You know, Granny D, Doris Haddock, this wonderful 95-year-old woman from Maine who 10 years ago walked across the country in behalf of campaign finance reform. She got enormous attention at the local levels and brought about some change in state funding, the adoption of public funding for state campaign. I think that's where we are probably going. If we don't, you know, I don't see an alternative to the growing power of the wealthy institutions, the corporations in particular, that amass great wealth and then use it to purchase the political influence that they need to perpetuate their power. That's what's happened in this country in my lifetime that is really different. It took us 350 years to eliminate slavery. And then it took a bloody civil war of 4 years before we achieved the end of slavery, and another 100 years until the Kennedy-Johnson administration, when we finally gave the freed slaves the rights they should have been guaranteed all along. It took 250 years for you to get the right to vote. We don't act until the grinding of the steel against the iceberg gets our attention. And that grinding is constant in my ear.